All right, welcome to BS3 Radio Live post game show of Game 5. The Heat force a Game 6. I got my man Courtney Harden right here. We're going to be recapping and breaking down this game. First off, man, what a crazy Game 5. Like I was expecting to come on this show and do a Lakers like celebration and brag on the Lakers,
Mhm.
but the Heat said no, not today, man, not tonight, man. What a great game. I was on the edge of my seat pretty much the entire game. But give me kind of your first take on the game.
Yeah, glad to be on with you first and foremost. And yeah, it was a crazy game, man. It felt like game 7. That's what it felt like, man.
Right.
It was just it was a crazy game, crazy ending, game of runs. I mean, that's what you expect from a team like the Miami Heat that are down 3-1 in the series, and then they just kept fighting and they just kept battling until to the last minute. And I mean, props to Miami Heat and Eric Spoelstra. He had those guys ready. They were on the brink of elimination, and they proved to think like, well, we're not gonna be eliminated here. We're gonna make them work. And the Lakers played well. I mean, they were right in the mix. They were down. I think they were down 11 twice in the game, and then even into the fourth quarter, like Miami was getting ready to run away with it, and then LeBron just kept chipping away. I mean, he had an unbelievable game, 40 points, but him and Jimmy, they both they was just going at it. They're like old school, two great players just going right at each other, right at it. Jimmy had 35. I think it was like 12 boards and 11 assists. He had another triple double. He would not let Miami give up. So yeah, Miami gets the victory. I thought we talked last. I thought the Lakers were going to actually pull this off. We were going to get a celebration, but we ain't getting it. We gotta wait now till Sunday at least.
Yeah, we not getting it, man. I said Lakers in 6. I started to doubt that as we got further along in the series, just because it didn't look like they had a true shot, especially without Dragic and them not having Bam for a while.
Yeah,
But man, you're right. Back and forth, back and forth. To me, it was like a clash of the Titans. LeBron and Jimmy just pretty much going at each other. They
yeah,
wanted the ball in their hands. To me, this was kind of like it definitely was like a game 7, but it was just a back and forth battle. And what LeBron had 40,
yeah,
13, and 7. I mean, and shouts out to Duncan Robinson, man,
yeah,
hitting in 7 threes tonight. They just pulled up a stat. I think it was only Ray Allen and Steph Curry, I think, was the only one to maybe have 7 in a game, but he was huge tonight. We talked about Kendrick Nunn the last game.
yeah,
Kendrick Nunn, the sweet lefty, man, with that lefty jumper, was pretty much money tonight. Whenever he had the ball in his hand, he was aggressive. He was going to the hole, and he showed why he should be getting minutes. And I thought Kendrick Nunn was huge, as well as Duncan Robinson was huge tonight.
yeah. Then yeah, Duncan Robinson was huge, as you said, 26.7 threes. Yeah, Kendrick Nunn. I mean, I talked about him in the last video we did, and I was like, he played way too many minutes. He was just out there the last game, but we talked about him being an extra ball handler, somebody that can create besides Jimmy Butler. And he did it. I mean, you said the sweet lefty. He played today like he played earlier in the season, where he was hitting a lot of big shots, and he had 11 in the first half. Like, he was just hitting and driving to the hole, and he was giving the Lakers a lot of fits. And the one stat that Miami had, all 5 starters were in double figures. Uh, Duncan Robinson, you said 26 points, big shot at the big shot. I mean, this guy was fearless, just hitting threes from left and right, from every angle, too, looking like Klay Thompson out there a little bit. Tyler
True.
Hero, 12 points, Crowder, 11 points, and Bam. And, Bam didn't really play, to his standard, but 13 points. He played major minutes, 38 minutes. And the one thing about Jimmy Butler, he played 47 out of 48 minutes. You could tell how tired he was. I mean, this guy, he just kept hitting his free throws. It just kept just driving to the hole and making big plays and the passes. And I mean, you can't say. There's so much you can say about Jimmy Butler just becoming that upper echelon baller that he is, and yeah, they live to see another day in this series.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta say, and shout out to Taryn Rodriguez, our faithful listener. He said Lakers in six. Yeah, we were
Yeah,
saying Lakers in five. Now we're saying Lakers in six. I don't know. And a positive note, you got to look at when you watching the game. You seen that Dragic was on the sideline. So with him being on the side, which I don't think he was, I don't think he was on the side. The past couple of games, that's got to be kind of major, possibly for his confidence and if he's going to be able to play. And then I
yeah,
think, Jimmy even mentioned it. Like we would love to get. He said we would love to get number 7 back. And they just played hard. They played hard with that grit. Like Miami just has that grit to, I think, just to play rough basketball pretty much with anybody, and they'll stick with anybody. Like they're just one of those teams that you would put them in a ring, you would put them in a WWE ring with anybody, and they would just battle it out, to the end. And couple of things I wanted to point out. Um, let me see. Oh, LeBron ties Derek Fisher, all-time record of 259 career playoff games. That's a lot.
yeah,
LeBron's 35 now, putting it all out there. But it was interesting to see Dwight Howard and Jimmy, get a little chippy in there,
yeah.
and then Dwight Howard hitting him in the head, which maybe it was an accident, maybe it wasn't, but it looked like he was just going straight for the head. So I think that just makes the series even more interesting because now I think you got more of a battle now than even what you had before. So I'm extremely excited to get to this game 6, which will be on Sunday.
Yep.
But man, what was your thoughts when you seen Dwight Howard and Jimmy kind of going at it, and then later on, yeah, well, at first they got tied up, and then secondly, the Dwight Howard kind of hit him in the head like he was
Yeah.
swiping at the ball.
That's Dwight Howard. He's out there to be I guess to be an enforcer, to be the tough guy. I don't think he's that type of guy. He's never really been Superman, and everything. But he's out there. He's a body. I mean, he can still give you some quality minutes. And I mean, I was surprised he played. He played 15 minutes and he was out there with 3 fouls, 2 points, 2 rebounds. So he was just out there for size and to kind of get people, get him in the mix, just get in the mix of things and everything. And Jimmy is no punk. Jimmy don't back down from anybody, man. I mean, you said he's the model of what Miami Heat has been for many years. That grit, that grind, that type of toughness. You've seen it when back in the day when they with D Wade and all those guys. So it's the same thing. Jimmy just brings that in the mix. So yeah, Dwight Howard and him getting tangled up. It's just playoff basketball, championship basketball. And I think another thing too, another key thing with the Lakers, their bench didn't give them much of anything this time. Caruso 3 points, 1 for 3 from the field in 23 minutes. Rondo, he wasn't a factor in this game. 4 points, 5 boards, 5 assists, but 1 for 7 in only 18 minutes. And then Kuzma only had 7 points, only shooting 3 for 10. And Morris, he was out there in crunch time, and he had 0 points,
Yeah,
4 fouls, and then he made that bonehead play in the end where he just lobbed it over the head of AD, and they're looking at him like, what are you doing?
what
Like,
are you doing? Yeah,
it's like a J.R. Smith situation from a couple of years ago with the Warriors in Cleveland. LeBron's looking at him when he got the rebounds, like, what are you doing, man? Like, come on. LeBron played. He had outstanding game, 40 points, 15 to 21 from the field. I mean, you couldn't ask for any more from LeBron, and you could tell how frustrated he was after the game because he made it. He made the plays. He took over in the end. He made the plays. Danny Green had a good look on
oh
that
my
last
God, he
shot.
did.
Oh my goodness! And then
He
it
did.
just fell short. He had a wide, and that's what they got him for. I mean, this is another guy's got championship rings. San Antonio,
Right.
Toronto last year. He's
Toronto.
hit big
Right.
shots,
Right.
and they put him out there for that, for that shot. And Caldwell Pope, 16 points,
Yeah.
just couldn't hit those big shots in the end. And he was getting good looks too. So the Lakers just couldn't execute or just couldn't hit those big shots in the end too. So I think that was one of the problems too.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, man, you can't have the ball in Morris's hands with a game on the line like that. That's not his strong suit. I think he did make a bonehead play because if he would have put that in position to AD, that would have been an easy layup or dunk,
Yeah.
and
Yep.
the game probably would have been over with. So I think it's definitely frustrating. And Taryn, you were right. I said that when we come on here Friday, I said the Lakers are going to win it
Yep.
all. So I kind of jinxed y'all. I'm not gonna speak on it. We'll see what happens on Sunday. And yeah, they lost in the Mamba black
Black
Lakers
jerseys.
jerseys.
Yep.
That's you got to be feeling that. I know that hurts, but I think this to me this is truly a testament to the Miami Heat, man, just playing extremely hard tonight, making smart plays, making key plays. Duncan Robinson, I think he took a charge, towards the end of the game on LeBron.
Yeah.
Um, so the Lakers starters, LeBron had 40, AD had 28. Caldwell Pope, he had a couple of big threes, 16. Danny Green, 8. Kuzma, 7. And when it comes to Danny Green, man, he is just off. I mean, I think he plays well, between most of the quarters. But when it comes down to hitting key shots, Danny Green just does not seem to be that guy anymore. Like when he was in San Antonio, when he was in Toronto. So it's a tough loss, but I think the Lakers will come back strong next game. Normally when they
Yeah.
lose a game, they come out and they come back, extremely strong. So I think this is far from over because this could have ended up a different way. This game could have ended up a different way, and it could have ended up a win for the Lakers if it wasn't a couple of misplays. Now, also, I wanted to point out AD. Now, what this is a key factor in the whatever remaining in this series is what type of injury does AD have? Because I thought he tore his Achilles. So when he was first
Mm.
holding it, to me it looked like okay, this dude is done. But there's a friend of mine. I don't know if he's watching right now, Tyler Butler. He says AD is a walking injury report, which which is true. Every single game, AD, at least in these finals, he's been hobbled. Either his legs or his arm or his shoulder or something. But this one looked a little. It looked a little interesting, like it could be long term, and I think that's going to be another deciding factor. Like you said, AD is the X factor. Even though he's an all star, and you would put him as the number 2 on the team, he's still an X factor because you don't know how he's going to go. And he started off really great. I think he had 8 points starting off.
If that's a big blow for
Yeah,
for AD, and if it's an injury, if it's an Achilles, or I thought maybe it's just maybe a sprain, and I think he's going to just go out there and try to play. But if he's ineffective, and if it's a serious injury, they, I mean, LeBron is as great as he is, one of the greatest of all time, and he could put on these type of performances, and I don't think he's not gonna let them try to not to lose, but it's one of those things. But AD, that's what he's there for. He's there to be the guy with LeBron, and if it's that type of serious injury, that's a huge blow, and that is for Miami. That's advantage Miami because as I said, he is the X factor. He's been the X factor because he's unguardable. Like, he's unguardable for anybody. Like he can't be guarded by anybody big because he'll just go around with his athleticism and his height. But if anybody's small, he punishes them in the post and just roll into the basket. And he can score in so many ways. inside, outside. His jump shot has gotten his improved much better. He can hit the three. He gets to the line. I think they said he's like 21 of 21 from the free throw line in the series itself. So
Yeah.
he can get to the line and he finishes. He's a 7-footer. He's a 7-foot guard. Really, that's what he is, and would handle and can take it to the basket. So I mean, that's a significant blow. If it's anything, if it's a serious injury, I guess we'll wait and see what it is, because he was limping out there. I don't know, those last couple of minutes, he couldn't really do anything. You could tell LeBron wasn't really looking for him in the end either, because he's like, I can't rely on this guy. This guy's, if he's injured, he can't barely run up and down the floor. I gotta go to other guys like Danny Green and Caldwell Pope, or whoever, Morris. So LeBron, his wingman, they're gonna have to do it collectively if AD's out.
Yeah, and Eric, Eric Smith, you posed a great question, a part of the Air Hustling podcast. Thank you for tuning in. What will this mean if the Lakers blow the series, especially LeBron? I think this is going to be like his entire career. He's going to get a major amount of hate and a major amount of when we don't want to do it, but we rank the players all the time. We're gonna rank Jordan, Kobe, and LeBron. It's always gonna happen, even if we do it or don't do it. It's gonna happen. So I think it's gonna either drop him down a notch, but people are gonna be critical of LeBron regardless. But it's gonna be interesting if they blow a 3-1 lead. You know that it's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be crazy talk. Yeah. Because that's something that should not happen. I don't think. Now, Dragic, I didn't get any notification that he was coming back this game, but giving him another 2 days, and I know it's a tear. I don't know if he's been practicing, but if he's somehow able to come back, you're evening. I'm not even saying you're evening the playing field. You may be up a notch, especially with what AD's gonna look like, because he was limping around out there. He didn't really look like himself. He still gutted it out. He still played. It probably would have been best for him if they would have won tonight, so then he could rehab and figure out what's going on. Terrence says Lakers in 6. I ain't even going to think like that about AD. AD has been beaten up so much all playoffs. He needs a life alert.
Yeah, he's gonna play. I think he's gonna go out there and try to play regardless, because his game's gonna be game 6. He doesn't want to be like, okay, I gotta sit out. You don't want to give Miami a chance to try to get this series, and they just ready to pounce. They're like, well, we've had major injuries, and if you're one of your main guys is out, he's gonna. Yeah, I think it's gonna take more than just that, unless it's torn, which I doubt. I don't know what it is. Could be an ankle, could be Achilles, could be the heel. Whatever it is, it didn't look good. But he's gonna go out there and try to ball. He's still balled tonight anyway. So they definitely need AD. I mean, I picked Lakers in 7, but that, like I said, that was when both teams in full strength. But if Dragic, he does come back and he gives Miami anything with his ball handling and his shot making ability, man, the Lakers better watch out. I mean, yeah, Dragic, I know he was trying to play in game 4. He was trying to play. He had practice, or he had warmed up in the beginning, but he said he just couldn't go or whatever. And then I don't know about today. Like they said, he was sitting there on the bench. Maybe he tried again, but he can give them a boost, because they definitely would need. They could use his scoring and playmaking ability of Gordon Dragic.
Yeah, it's gonna make this series completely different if he's not able to play. We have Eric. He sent a quick message. He said MJ, Kobe, Kareem, Bird, and then LeBron / Magic as a tie. Looks like in his goats. But you got to give it to Tyler Hero. I don't know how much Tyler Hero had tonight. Let me pull it up. But he had a couple of key shots. I mean, the Heat bench, I think, played great tonight. Let me see. 14 was the points off the bench, and that was all Kendrick Nunn.
Kendrick Nunn, yeah. He also I think he tied the he tied the whole Lakers bench, I believe,
You're right.
just by himself, and they only played two players off the bench, so
You're right.
Iguodala and
That's crazy.
Kendrick Nunn. Yeah, so
That's crazy.
those guys were they played, the starters played a lot of minutes, and I think Spoelstra's just going to ride a. He's probably going to just have a 7-man rotation and just ride it out. Hopefully they don't run out of gas because I tell you, Jimmy, 47 minutes, that's heavy minutes. You could tell at the end, but he kept attacking. He just kept attacking. He got to the free throw line. He didn't miss a free throw at all. He went right at AD. He went right at LeBron, whoever. He just kept hitting big shot to big shot. And the Lakers they couldn't adjust. They tried to run that. Miami ran that pick and roll, and the Lakers couldn't adjust to it. And Jimmy he just took over in the end.
Yeah, yeah, and you know it was major to see Kendrick Nunn with that 14. That helped out a lot. Now you look
Yeah.
at the Lakers bench, Marcus Morris, I think that's Marcus Morris. He had 0.
Yeah.
And you know, in the past couple of games, he's been able to give you, you know, at least 10, able to give you a couple of key threes. He hasn't been able to do that. And then you look at Kuzma had 7, Rondo had 4, and then Caruso had 1 3. So, man, this makes of a great series, though. You know, this is what we want to see in an NBA Finals. We want to see this because this is going to give all of us, you know, an entertaining game to watch. Jimmy had great composure the entire game. He did. I agree with you. The entire game, he didn't get too high. He didn't get too low. When it was time to get a bucket, Jimmy was money. When it was time to get a bucket, he would back him down. You know, when he ended up getting switched on Morris a couple of plays, and he took care of that. Morris can't guard him. Kuzma fouling Duncan Robinson. I'm looking at the highlights are going on right now in the background, but you know, you cannot foul on a 3-point shot. And he was all in the guy's grill. So, you know, it's no way, it's no way of getting around it. They're going to call the foul. And Kentavious Caldwell-Pope hitting the key 3 in the game. But man, I was on the edge of my seat. I was like, wow, this is it's a great game, you know, from beginning to end. And I don't think it wasn't all filled with threes. It wasn't just a whole bunch of 3-pointers. I think it was you know, well drawn plays, you know, isolation plays, LeBron trying to get to the hole, and then the same thing with Jimmy.
Yeah, and that's the key. It was Jimmy versus LeBron. That's what it was
Exactly.
when it came down to. I mean, the key factor of the game. It kind of reminded me that I think it was when LeBron was on Cleveland when him and Paul Pierce were going at it. I think they both scored 40, and that reminded me of that. It was just one of those epic battles between two of the best players in the league, and you could tell they was going back and forth, especially those last 3-4 minutes. Jimmy would hit a basket, and then LeBron would come right back down, take it to the hole. The one thing LeBron did in the fourth quarter, he kept taking it. He kept taking it to the hole. Like, he can't be guarded when he does that. And
bully ball.
Yeah, bully ball. Yeah, he was doing bully ball, and then he didn't want he hit a lot of threes today too. So that's what you want LeBron to do, is to shoot the 3. I mean, that's the weakness of his game. It's still good, but that's the weakness of his game, is the jump shot. So you want LeBron to shoot the 3. You don't want him to bully ball and get into the lane. You want to be a facilitator and to shoot that 3. But you could tell he wanted to definitely want to end this series, and he did all he could. I mean, you couldn't ask for a better game from him, and now he's got to do it all over again. Sunday, and it's going to be tight, because if they lose Game 6, anything can happen in Game 7.
Oh yeah. Game 7 would be a toss-up if it gets to that. LeBron had 6 threes. He was hitting threes from the top of the key. He was hitting threes from the corner. I mean, he was laser focused tonight, and that's not historically, that's not what he does. But tonight, you know, he was on. He was on with the threes. AD was 2 for 5. Danny Green was 2 for 5, and then Kentavious Caldwell-Pope was 3 for 8. When you go over to the Heat side, Jimmy was 1 for 3, and he hit that 1 3 before halftime. Yeah. So, you know, this is man. I'm excited. And then Duncan Robinson hit 7 threes, 7 for 13. When you need someone to give you some threes, when you need someone to give you some key buckets, Duncan was key tonight. He had 25. Tyler Hero had 12. And like you said, all the starting five was in double digits. So honestly, it's not. This is probably the hardest fought game for them, and I think on both sides, the energy that you exuded, the amount of pressure that was in this game. Key minutes. You got LeBron backing down Jimmy, in a major point in the game, and then Jimmy was D'ing up on LeBron. I think we got to point that out. Like Jimmy is not afraid to
Right.
to face a challenger, to go up against the best player on the team. And it was a couple of possessions that he either blocked the shot or he either forced a miss. So I think that's the great thing about Jimmy that we gotta respect.
Definitely, and I know someone, Cornelius in the chat room said Jimmy played with great composure. Yeah, on both ends of the floor, like you said, this guy's played 47 out of 48 minutes, and he's guarding the best player probably the best player in the league still, LeBron James, all game, and he's exuding all this energy on the defensive end and the offensive end. And as I said at the end, he's leaned over on the bench. He's leaned over after he the one play when he went up against AD and AD fouled him, he had hit the free throws towards the end of the game. He's just leaned over like I don't even know if I have anything left, but he knew this was their game 7. This was and now they got to do it again and again. It's game 5, so it's this they didn't want to go home and definitely not want to go home, and they played. They played their hearts out. And another thing too, I think the Lakers, for them to win, they got to get better production from their bench. It said their bench only scored 13 points.
13
So
points.
yeah, and they shot terrible from the field. So they have to get they got to get that production. I think they'll play better in Game 6. I think LeBron, he's gonna have to rely on it. They got to hit shots, and they just couldn't hit any shots.
Yeah. And Terrence says Danny Green had all kinds of room, and like there wasn't a better look than that.
Real good
But
look. Yeah.
again, Jimmy has not. I mean, not Jimmy, but Danny Green has not been key this entire series. So I'm not surprised that he missed it. It would have been great if he made it. And even Jimmy said it like, man, we got lucky with him missing that shot. And I think he said Markeith literally turned into J.R. Smith.
That's what he said earlier. Yep.
Why isn't J.R. Smith getting minutes? That is a question that you may want to ask. I don't know if it's just because he really hasn't got that much run, period. And the rest of the guys, Quinn Cook, McGee, none of those guys can get minutes. If the Heat wins the championship, is Jimmy Butler a top 10 player? That's a great question. And while we have that question, let's bring in our man Todd Mack. I think he's joining from the car. Can you
What
hear
up,
us?
man?
I think you're on mute. I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
You better pay
There we
attention.
go.
Driving, you better pay attention, man.
Cool. Oh no, I'm chilling. No driving. Chilling.
Okay.
I couldn't get none of my devices to work, so I just had to switch to the phone and just had to do it by phone today. So
that's all right. We all making it work. I got the phone tripod. Give me your take on this game.
Oh man, it was a good game, man. It was definitely a good game. Miami played with some urgency and desperation early in the game. They allowed the Lakers to fight back in the game, and then it was Jimmy Butler, man. Jimmy Butler figured out how to win, man. He made some clutch plays. That spinning step back that he made on Morris was beautiful. The drive to the rim, knowing that they were switching. That last play, which he ended up getting to a free throw line, making 2 free throws. He got fouled by Anthony Davis. That shows IQ, right? I mean, the dude he stepped it up when he needed to step it up, man. And it was a good win for them. It was a win that they needed, especially when you got LeBron. I mean, LeBron had a monster game tonight. So for LeBron to have a monster game and you pull out a win, that can give you a little confidence, a little boost there. So I'm ready to see Game 6.
Yeah, and with LeBron dropping 40, do you have a triple double? No, he had 40, 13, and 7. Like it doesn't get any better in a game than that for LeBron. Now you came in a perfect timing because we got a question from Eric Smith. And anybody
Okay.
that's got questions, you can pose those. Any comments? We're always welcome to that. If the Heat wins the championship, is Jimmy Butler a top 10 player?
Ooh,
That's
That's
a
a good
good question.
question.
Because you got a lot of players though in the league. I don't know if he cracks the top 10. I don't think so.
He might be on the outside, like literally on the line, like 11. Like he might be 10A. You know what I mean? 10A. Because I mean, think of it. He's one of the best players on both ends on the floor. He can do it both. He can do offensively he's good, but he's really good defensively. But man, he might be 11. That's a tough list because you can rattle off names. LeBron, KD. You still got to put Kevin Durant up there.
KD,
Healthy
Steph,
KD, Steph,
Kawhi.
Giannis,
Yeah,
Kawhi, 80. So yeah, you can rattle 6, 7 names before you probably name Jimmy. But
I mean, I might have to throw him up there, man.
me too. That's what I said.
That's
He's
a
a 10
that's a tough question, but to really think about it, I mean, if he somehow pulls this off, coming back from
Yeah,
down 3-1,
right.
I mean, you got to put him up there, man. I mean, who is he playing with? I mean, he ain't got
yeah,
no veterans over there. Ain't no vets on that team. You know what I'm saying? Outside of Iggy and Jay Crowder, I mean, that's a young team, man, and
Yeah,
he took it upon himself to take the lead role. He's taking the big shots. He's making the big plays. I mean, the 2 games that they've won, he's got a triple double. It's if they somehow win this series, he's going to have to remind people of how Dwayne Wade won that series in 2006, I believe,
yep,
against Dallas. He's going to have to be the guy that just takes over, right? And he did it tonight. I mean, he played 47 minutes tonight. But that's a
yeah,
dude that was determined not to win, not to lose. And then if you listen to his press conference afterwards, man, he was mad. He was like, look, we can't close out games like that, man. We need to finish games. We need to win. You know, like this is a dude who knows, like he knows what he needs to do. He's focused. Like I said, I mean, I might have to put him up there, man. He's gotten further than James Harden.
it's true.
He's got further than James Harden being the man. He's gotten further than Westbrook being the man. We had them as, top 10 players. I mean, he's gotten further than AD being the man.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
you might have to put him up there, man. You gotta really think about it. But, after that list, I mean, you guys rattled off them names, 5 or 6 names after that. I mean, you can
yeah.
throw him in
you might
there.
have to put him in there. I mean,
You
you,
gotta
you
run that.
got you got to think he took the absolute hardest route. He didn't go to LA. He didn't go partner with anybody else. He
Yeah,
went to Miami, and people were like, "Miami, okay, yeah, good job. Maybe you'll make the playoffs this year." But he
mm-hmm.
took these boys to the finals with Duncan Robinson, Tyler Hero. Which Tyler Hero came on, throughout the playoffs. I think is when his kind of transcendence, and then you got Duncan Robinson. But there's really nobody on this team that I don't know if you can count on to hit a shot. Dragic would probably do that, but he hasn't been here. Besides whatever game that was, one or
Game 1, that
two. I
was
think
it.
game one that was it. So
That was it.
Jimmy, yeah, I mean it's a really great question, and I think
Yeah,
if he's able to do this, also, Eric posed this, and Tyon, I'll let you answer this. What does this do to LeBron? What does this do to LeBron and the Lakers? Going forward.
To me, it doesn't do anything. LeBron's legacy is already cemented for me. I don't think he can go any further up. I mean, unless he somehow three-peats late in his career, he'll be where he is, which is number 2. I think the Lakers already talking about adding more firepower at the end of the season anyway. So I don't think that changes. I don't think it changes nothing for them. I think they made it to the playoffs made it to the finals a year earlier than I expected, because like I said, I thought the Clippers was going to be the ones in the playoffs this year. And, the Lakers want to add another piece next season and really compete. But, I don't think their legacy or the story really changes for them. Maybe AD, because if they somehow come back, somebody's going to blame AD, even though AD is having a magnificent series, right? It's never
Right.
LeBron is never to blame when you lose. It got to be somebody else, and AD will be the scapegoat. So
Now, what did you think when he went down with that injury? I thought it was an Achilles. As soon as it happened and he started grabbing it.
yeah, I did too. I thought it was over. I was like, oh my God. I was like, Miami might have just got the break that they needed. Like you hate to see injuries, but Jesus, I was like, that would have been a huge injury, because I'll be real. I think AD is the X factor in that series. I think, even though as great as LeBron has played, I think AD on defense and offensively, he's been shooting like 60% from the field, and he's been their best defensive player. So, you look at his efficiency, you look at his defensive ability. I think he's been, more of the anchor than anything. Of course, LeBron gets the praise because, he's a facilitator. He's LeBron James. He's the best player in the league. But I think that if AD goes down, that series, Miami could easily win 3 games if AD goes down. So,
yeah. When I seen that, I was like, when you start grabbing in that area and the pain he was in, but then I kind of rewind, and it's like every time AD gets on the ground, he has that same grimacing look. So,
Right.
I don't know. AD did all he could. It's not his fault. This is from Taryn. Kuzma and Danny Green needed to do better. And yeah, you're right. I'm not blaming this on AD. I am partly blaming this on Danny Green, because you had a absolute great look.
Great
Like
look.
it doesn't get any better than that. But I'm not surprised with him not making the shot, because he just hasn't been on. But this is, like I said, this is more of a testament to the Miami Heat and just the fight and the grit and Jimmy Butler and them being able to hit open shots at the end of the day.
Can I throw this out there too, by the way? Because somebody got ridiculed a couple of days ago for saying like, hey, I finally got a guy who can take that big shot like I can and make that shot like I can. His name was Kyrie Irving. And and I thought about that on that play, where I was like, that's the play where if that is Kevin Durant is taking that shot.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah.
It's not a driving kick. It's Kevin Durant is taking that shot.
Right.
And that's true, because that's been LeBron's career in some ways. Now he has hit big shots, but he's not that type of big shot maker or taking the big shot. He's a drive and kick type of player. And so when Kyrie hit that shot a couple years ago, that was Kyrie Irving. Kevin Durant, he's going to take that shot. Guys like Steph Curry will take that shot. So Danny Green had a good look, and any normal circumstance, he may hit that. Kawhi Leonard takes that shot, but
yeah.
It's one of those things like LeBron's got to take that shot. He was driving to the hole every single time. He was getting either fouled or taking a layup, but this time he just felt like he needed to kick it out. Yeah, it was a better shot, but who knows?
Good and let's be real. Like it was a good pass. Like Danny Green was wide open. He was wide open. And to be honest, if Danny Green rotates that ball to the left, guess who else is open? Your boy that you hate so much, Caldwell Pope. Probably would have hit that shot.
KCP.
Probably would have hit that shot, right? Being a 42% three-point shooter in the series. He probably hits that wide open 3. But, it's what I said. LeBron, when the game is on the line, LeBron is going to make what he considers the best play, like the best play available, right? He's not the hero. He doesn't play hero ball, right? And you have a lot of players who want to play hero ball. Kevin Durant is a guy who plays hero ball, right? Kyrie Irving is a guy who plays hero ball. Bradley Beal, another guy, Damian Lillard. They're guys who play hero ball. You know what I'm saying? They're like, hey, I'm going to take this last shot. I don't care if it's 2, 3, 4 people on me. I'm going to shoot the ball. And LeBron is going to make the right play. He made the right play. Danny Green, Danny Green just been firing blanks the whole series, and that was another
Yeah.
one. So
Why? Well, I guess my question is, why is he still in the starting lineup? He hasn't. I mean, he's had what, one or two good games, and when I say good games, I mean like 10 or 12 points. I'm not talking about like 20. So going into this next game, do you start somebody else in that spot? Now the question is, who else do you have? I guess it would be J.R. Smith, which I doubt you're going to start him, or maybe Kuzma, or um, maybe
well,
Kuzma. I don't know.
well, what is you have to evaluate what is Danny Green actually there for, right? Danny Green, just like Caldwell Pope, is there to take open shots and play defense. That's it,
Yeah,
right? And so, you look at that shot. It was one play where Danny Green gets a wide open three. Matter of fact, I'm sorry, he didn't get a wide. He caught the ball in the corner. He pump fake, sidestep, shoots the three. He airballs, right? Airballs the three. And Jimmy Butler gets the rebound. Jimmy Butler is driving down court, and Danny Green picks his pockets from behind, right? So
right.
you see that the exchange, and you like, man, Danny Green missed a shot, but this is why we have him on the court right here. This defensive play that he made, right?
Right.
That's what we really got him on the court for, is those defensive plays. So you kind of got to take the good with the bad in this situation, right? Because, like I said, who else do you put on? You just mentioned, J.R. Smith. We ain't seen J.R. Smith,
Nah.
unless it was like dirt time. Like it was bad. You know what I'm saying? Even then, we better, and Deion Waiters over in his, I'm saying, he and his Lakers, warm up, like his warm up is clean. You know what I'm saying? Like it
Yeah,
ain't no drenched
he
or
in street
sweat
he
on
in
it, no
street clothes.
nothing.
Yeah, nah.
Yeah. So, you're not seeing them two guys. You know what I'm saying? So who do you start? Do you start Kyle Kuzma? Who, I don't think he's as good as a defender as Danny Green. He might give you more offensive ability, but then when you put him in with the starters, then who do you have coming off the bench to give you
Yeah.
offense?
Right.
So, so I think you got to rock with what you've been rolling with all year. It's been working. I think it's one of them things where like Avery Bradley is missed.
Yeah. If
That's
you
a
had
guy
him,
who,
yeah.
yeah, who was your best defender and and a pretty good 3-point shooter. So you could probably use him right now. But otherwise, I mean, you got to roll what you got right now.
I
Yeah.
agree too. I think you got to roll with Danny Green too, just for the experience. You said defensively, and he can hit the three. He has done it his career with the
Yeah,
Spurs and with the Raptors last year. So he can hit a couple three, and he did hit he hit one. I know. I think it was in the fourth quarter. He did hit one,
yeah.
but as you
Hit a clutch.
said, when he gets to dribble, he's never been that. He has to hit off the dribble, and I was like,
Mm-hmm.
give the ball up, man. He's pump faking, he's dribbling. Get the ball because he's going to either turn it over or shoot an air ball. Like you said, he's a spot up 3-point shooter, so he's out there. And then even in the last play, I don't mind him being out there because he can. You spread the floor for LeBron, and you need all the 3-point shooters you can get. And with their bench didn't give him anything this game at all.
No.
Really, Rondo struggled, Caruso really struggled, and Morris had 0 points. So they had to. They had to. That's why they brought Danny Green in. They said, okay. I had a feeling he was going to get that last shot too, and I thought he was going. I actually thought he was going to hit it because he was wide open.
He
But
was wide open.
that's what he's out there for.
Yeah. We got another question. Before I get to that, I wanted to just say Jimmy Butler, the 6th player in NBA history to have multiple triple doubles. And then Twitter is just going off right now with Bron versus Jimmy. You can put that up on a billboard right now because they were just like two titans clashing. But the question is Eric Spoelstra an elite coach? My answer to that question would be yes. I think he's proven that he can coach a team that doesn't have 3 superstars. Now, how many times did he make it into the playoffs when he didn't have those 3 superstars? Maybe, I don't know, once or twice. But I think he's able to coach and develop players. I think you can see that with Hero and Duncan Robinson. But Courtney, I'll go to you. How would you answer that?
I mean, he's got 2 championship rings, regardless of whoever he coached with. That's elite itself. I don't care if you have LeBron, Wade, Bosh. I mean, but he still had to coach guys like Mike Miller, Shane Battier, those type of guys, and yeah, I definitely believe he's an elite coach. And, Pat Riley has kept them all through those years. And that's just to me, an elite general manager, president, coach, coaching staff in itself. And then you lose D Wade, but you come back with Jimmy Butler, and now you're in the finals. So, yeah, I definitely think he's up there, like top 5, 10 coaches in the league right now. Yeah, Eric Spoelstra's definitely a league coach.
All right, Ty.
Easily
Yeah.
elite coach, man. I mean,
Yeah,
I think Courtney summed it up for the most part. When you win 2 rings, I don't care if you have 3 superstars or not. You still got to learn how to manage those superstars and get the best out
yep,
of them. You got to
Right.
learn how to draw up the plays. You got to learn how to, you can't have them playing pickup ball. You think about that Miami team. I mean, it was one of the best defensive teams in the league. And they wasn't the greatest offensive team, but they were pretty good offensively too. So you look at the way he has his Miami team playing right now. I mean, their calling card is defense. I mean, you look at how they're playing defense. I mean, they're working for everything. And like I said, LeBron James and AD are, they're monsters, right?
yeah,
They're two unstoppable forces, literally. But Miami is trying to do everything they can. They're throwing different looks at them. They're doing everything that they can to try to stop them dudes. And they're playing really good defense on the others, right? So the others aren't getting off. And you got to give, Spo, some respect for that. And then offensively, you got to look at how they're trying to create, mismatches. The Lakers kept on trying to get Anthony Davis on Butler. And so as you started seeing, they started running the pick and roll with Morris, right? So they started bringing the Morris up so they can get the switch with Morris, and get Morris on Jimmy Butler and let Jimmy Butler go, or get somebody else on Jimmy Butler and let Jimmy Butler go. So, I mean, that's all coaching. That's all coaching. That's also understanding, the personnel, getting players in the trail technique behind Duncan Robinson. Duncan Robinson got off tonight. I said that he has to shoot the ball. He took 13 threes, right? You got to
Yeah.
shoot the ball. He hit
yep,
7 of them, right?
Yeah.
So, but again, that's coaching, getting him and getting the defense in a position where they was in trail technique on him the whole time, and he was able to just turn and catch and shoot. So, you got to give him his props. I mean, he came with a good game plan offensively, and it opened the floor up for Jimmy. And like I said, one of the things that the team is missing, they need that other person to get to the rim. They don't have that. But Jimmy did enough tonight. He did enough of
Yeah.
getting to the rim himself, and they got the win.
Yeah. Yeah.
yep.
And your boy right now is on NBA TV getting interviewed. Kendrick Nunn with that sweet
Uh-huh.
lefty shot, man. What
Uh-huh.
he had, I think he had 14 tonight.
Yep.
At 7 early points. But me and Tyon has a mutual friend named Gilbert Jackson. Gilbert Jackson, if you watching right now, that sweet lefty shot, man. Everybody that we knew in high school, me and Tyon went to high school together. If you were left-handed, more times out of 10, you had a sweet shot. Just that lefty
Yep.
shot
Oh
is
yeah.
sometimes and it's sometimes hard to defend. But Kendrick Nunn was key tonight in this win. He had the most points. He had more points than the whole Lakers bench, which we brought that up.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Yeah.
like when you're getting 14 from Kendrick Nunn, also Kelly Olynyk did not play at all tonight. So all
At
they
all.
had off the bench was Iguodala and Kendrick Nunn. So when you talk about laying it all out there, that's what they
Mhm.
did tonight. They were like, Kelly Olynyk, we don't need you. Miles Leonard, we don't need you. Just give me this starting 5. We're gonna ride this thing. And Butler did everything that you needed to do. When you needed a key shot, he made the shot even when it was contested. Or like you said, Ryan, that double spin move that he did when he was backing down Morris, it was money.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, definitely. I mean, they executed a good game plan. They had a good game plan tonight. They attacked the rim more. Butler was attacking the rim.
Yeah.
He was a lot more aggressive tonight. And like I said, one of my key things from this series, like I said, you got to get somebody else shooting the ball. Duncan Robinson has to shoot the ball.
Yeah.
And tonight he shot the ball. that allowed floor spacing. That allowed Jimmy Butler to operate because he's gonna shoot, and he was hitting. Like I said, 7 to 13. That's over 50% tonight. So
Right.
you gotta shoot the ball, man. And hopefully he sees that. Game 6, he comes out, he's pulling. Like if I'm him, I'm pulling. Like don't double clutch it,
Yeah.
don't hesitate,
Just
let it
shoot.
fly, man.
Shoot.
Like I mean, you ain't got nothing to lose at this point. You down,
No.
you down 3-2. You know,
Mhm.
you gotta play loose. Get out there and let them fly, man. And Tyler Hero will end up coming, later on. And like I said, Jimmy Butler, he's gonna keep the pressure on you the entire game. So, like I said, it was a good win for them. I think it's a confidence booster. Hopefully they come out on I think Sunday.
Sunday.
Come out
Yep.
Sunday and give them a good game. I really want to see this series go 7. I don't know if it's gonna go 7, but I want to see it go 7. And I think I think Miami is a good team, man. If they were at full strength, I think this is a series that goes 7. But
Yeah.
hopefully they can drag it out, man. Sometimes you just need, a bounce of the ball, a bounce of
Yeah.
the ball going your way, and you get a win. And tonight
Yeah.
that's what happened. They got a
Yep.
bounce.
He
Yep.
got
Yep.
that bounce.
Shout out to Al High. Thank you for tuning in. I think you might have somebody was commenting this BS3 radio, so maybe that was you, Al. But appreciate you for tuning in. He said the Heat hit the BWW button for that Sunday game. I don't know BWW or BMW. Um, but yeah, Sunday night is going to be a huge game. Obviously, everything is riding on it. So we're probably going to see Jimmy play the same amount of minutes. We're probably going to see Kendrick Nunn and Iggy, the only two coming off the bench, because it's this is it. This is their season, and they fought so hard to get here. I think they're gonna bring it. On Sunday. At halftime, it was 60-56. LeBron had 21, Jimmy had 22, and Miami led by 11. That's another point. It was so back and forth. Miami was probably up most of the game. If you
Yeah.
total it all together, they were up by 10 at one point. They were up by 11. The next thing you know, the Lakers are up by 1. I mean, it was just so like back and forth. You could just see the sense of urgency. It wasn't complacency at all on either side, and you could just see how they both teams wanted it, but it was so back and forth. That's what made it even more entertaining game, because it wasn't like the team would they had to go on a 21-5 run. It was just back and forth, up and down.
Yeah.
I want to add that the Lakers said they were going to wear the Mamba jerseys tonight, and I saw that stat. It said the Lakers is 4-0 with that Mamba jersey, and I said, they'll be 4-1, right? I swear, every time those stats come up, you lose.
Yep.
I swear it's like, every time I see them stats, it be like, oh, such and such player. Matter of fact, when Oklahoma, they was like Gallinari had missed a free throw the entire series. He gets to the free throw line, misses the free throw.
Yep, missed both of them. I think he missed both of them.
so it happens every time. It is like the jinx of it's just the jinx, man. So, I mean, like I said, that looking at this series, and looking at both of these teams, like I said, you know what the Lakers are going to bring. They came, like I said, they came out sense of urgency. LeBron saw that ring, he was ready for the confetti to come down, and he was on fire tonight. I mean, I think he was 6 of 9 from 3-point line tonight. I mean, he was on fire. He was, he smelled blood in the water, and he went to go get it, and it just didn't happen tonight. So I say I loved it. It was a very, very competitive game. I said it will go. I'm hoping it goes 7. I'm still hoping it goes 7. Miami, please win another one. Make it go 7 for me. Make it a great finals. It like I said, they're both good teams. They're both good teams, well coached teams. You want to see? I kind of like the underdog. I like to see the underdog kind of compete a little bit. And they're competing, so I like it.
Yeah, I agree. I think they are competing, and it's one of those things like you said, LeBron just played with that urgency. He knew, okay, I'm taking this team on my back. And you could tell from the beginning, he was like, we're not losing this game. We're not going to lose this game. And by the looks of it, when Miami jumped ahead, you said they had two 11-point leads, and then the Lakers came back. They went on like I think it was 16-3 run in the fourth quarter. And then they're up by one, and I'm like, okay, they're gonna open this lead up. And it was up by three. It's like, okay, they're trying to open this lead up, and it's gonna be over. But then Jimmy just kept attacking, and you could tell even in the third quarter, Jimmy wasn't being as aggressive. It was almost like he was getting his teammates involved to see what was going on. Then that fourth quarter hit, he just started attacking again. Jimmy this series just keep picking his spots. And then boom, then he's got 35, he's got 40, like in game 3, and he has to play that way. And I think that this to me, as I said in the beginning of the show, felt like a game 7. This felt like game 7 because teams went back and forth, and Miami's got to do that again and again. We'll see if they can pull this off. I think they can. I think they can pull off, at least get it to 7, but they definitely going to need those others. They're going to need Duncan Robinson. They're going to need Tyler Hero, Kendrick Nunn. They're going to need those guys. They got Jay Crowder. They're going to need those guys to keep hitting shots. And Jimmy's going to have to get that 30, 35, 40, but maybe more triple doubles, just like the D Wade of 06.
Yeah. And Terrence says you heard it here first. Lakers will win the next game. Book it. Okay. Okay. Don't make sure you say your prayers though, because Jimmy is coming for him.
I mean, one thing I can say about this game that was different from like the last game, and I pointed it out last game, I said, whenever the Lakers get on those runs, you got to have somebody that's willing to just go to the rim, right? Your shot is not falling, you get to the rim. Jimmy Butler did that tonight. The shot wasn't falling. The rest of the team wasn't falling. He just went to the rim. He attacked the rim. He took, good shots. They took all good shots.
Yeah.
So you got to do it that way, man. The Lakers get on the run, LeBron them get on the run, and you gotta stop that. Now, one thing they're going to have to clean up, right? Because it almost killed them tonight. Fast break points. They got killed on the fast break points. I think Miami only had like 6 fast break points tonight, and the Lakers had close to 30. Right? You can't allow them to leak out the entire game, and they did that. Like I said, Miami plays great half-court defense. They're great half-court, a great half-court defensive team. And like I said, outside of outside of LeBron and AD, like they cover them really well. You got to make shots hard for AD and LeBron, which is, it's hard itself. But what you can't do is let them get runouts, right? And they start getting runouts. That's easy baskets for them. So Miami got lucky tonight. That didn't hurt them. But they got to make sure that they stop the fast break points.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it was 23-4 with fast break points at some point in time in the game. Yeah. Al, I agree with you. You can't fault LeBron for the effort. He put it all out there. And Taryn with the funny comment of the night, Bron needs to win this so he can get home to Bronny, so he can whoop Bronny when he get home.
Little Bronny.
Little Bronny.
Yeah, but a great game. So let's get, as we kind of get into the end here, let's give your prediction for Sunday. I'm going to say I got the Lakers winning Sunday. I think they're going to end it. When they lose a game, when they've lost a game, which has only been once, the next game you see how on fire that they were and how much they came out. The interesting factor is AD, which he said he's going to be good, which I'm sure he is, because this is it. You can get surgery, or you can get healed up later.
You get a new ankle, huh?
Yeah, he want that ring.
Go get a new ankle. You can't get another ring.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
All right, Courtney, what you got tomorrow? Sunday.
I gotta say my prediction. I said Lakers in 7, so Miami's got to win game 6. I think they're gonna be able to pull it off. The one thing they have to do, Bam Adebayo, I know he's coming back from that injury. He played with a lot of effort, but you could tell he couldn't finish around the rim much. Missing a lot of easy shots, and that's just him trying to get back into the mix of everything. He said himself he played timid in game 4. So I gotta get with the Heat. I think Jimmy's gonna have to continue to play like this, bring it home for them to force a game 7. So I'm going with Miami to win Game 6.
All right, Ty.
You know what? I'm going Miami gonna win Game 6, man. I
Okay.
said Lakers in 7. I mean, I actually predicted Miami in 7 before Dragic went down, but
Right.
um, I mean, I think they get to Game 7, man. I think this is a good series. I think Miami feels like they can compete with them, and they have confidence. And I said that shooting tonight by Duncan Robinson, I think, he hasn't been able to do that all series. He got that off tonight, in a must-win game, and I think that brings his confidence up. And if he can get going like that again and kind of spread the floor, I think this Miami team is dangerous, man. They're dangerous. They can mess around and win, and they can mess around and come back from 3-1.
Yeah,
You know,
it's definitely possible. Eric says 107, 100 Heat in overtime, and
overtime.
Terrence gonna say Lakers. Lakers win by double digits in that game. He says so.
I tell you this,
He's a Lakers fan.
Hey, Eric, I will say this: if Miami somehow gets to overtime Game 6 and wins that game, they will win Game 7. Miami
yeah,
will win Game 7. I
that's
will
a
I will I will put my money on that. Like
Yeah,
that is a backbreaker right there. That is one of them, like, that's a momentum shift. That is one of them, like, deflating games. If you get to overtime in a Game 6 and end up beating them to get it, get to a Game 7, it would literally remind me of when Miami won their ring against the Spurs,
yeah.
and they was down 3-2, and somehow Ray Allen made that ridiculous 3-pointer at
Corner.
the end,
Yeah, that
corner
corner
fall
three.
out of
Yeah,
bounds.
that
Fall out of
corner,
bounds. Yep.
yeah, to get it to overtime, and boom, and then that propelled them to win that Game 7, which, like I said, LeBron just killed that Game 7. So, I can see it happening. Like I said, when you up 3-1 and you drop 2 games straight, like that's
Mm,
demoralizing in itself. And we
Yeah.
seen that happen already in this playoffs. We saw Denver do it twice,
right.
right? Down 3-1 and they came back. So, you know, it can happen. It can happen.
Right.
Yeah,
And another thing too, closing games is the hardest thing to do when you're up 3-1. That we know we've been watching basketball for so many years, and the closing games are always the hardest one. No matter if you're the most dominant team or whatever, it's the hardest game. And LeBron's been through all this, so yeah. If the Lakers do win, not surprised. Like, this is LeBron James. He know he can close games, but that's the hardest game. And I think another thing too, as we said before, the Lakers bench got to they if they play well, they play better. They should win this. They should win in Game 6. But if they only give you 12, 13 points, they're gonna blow game. They're gonna lose Game 6, and they got to hit shots. So hopefully, if Rondo, Caruso, Kuzma, Morris, those guys have to play much better. If not, then they're gonna be forced to a Game 7.
yeah, yeah. Al says I still got Lakers in 7. Terrence says they can't lose this. They got to win this for Kobe, which I agree, man. You can't allow this to go 7, because
Oh,
then it's just a flip of the coin. They brought it back to an even playing field. I'm watching the press conference, and Jimmy just looks so laid back. Jimmy, man, lives for these moments. I don't know him personally, but he just looks like he lives for these moments, to be able to win on the biggest stage, and he's been showing it, man. Especially in this series with two 40 point games, I believe, in this series, and two
40
triple
point
doubles.
triple doubles.
triple
Yeah,
double.
40-point
Yeah.
triple doubles.
right, right.
Man,
Yeah, Danny
I
Danny
mean,
Green got to make closing shots. Yeah, you can't. Danny Green cannot have the ball in his hands with the game on the line. If it's from quarter 1 all the way to quarter 4, with like 3 minutes left, he can do that. But when it comes to the game on the line, you gotta. I think you gotta put it in somebody else's hands.
And he's a better corner 3-point shooter anyway than from the top of the key. He's usually money in the corner, so
Right.
that top of the key three, that's not his shot. So yeah,
Yeah.
if he's out there, he's got to hit the shot.
We'll see.
yeah.
We'll see. Ty, we gonna say something else?
Nah, I agree with y'all, man. Danny Green gotta make that shot, man. He gotta make them open threes. That's what he's there to do: make open shots and play defense. So you gotta make the open shots.
Yeah, yeah. So we will see you guys on Sunday. You know how we do. Whoever comes on, we will fire this thing up. We'll be back on
Let's do it.
Sunday. Shout out to Miss Mocha Bella, who's a frequent watcher and listener. She said she wasn't gonna be here, but the Heat won, Mocha. So you should be feeling really happy right now. I know she got to be. She's
Yeah,
probably got
she
to be
feeling
happy.
herself. She feeling herself. You know it. You know it.
She gets to talk. He gets to talk for another couple days,
Right,
Yes,
at
yes.
least.
right. Exactly. But thank you all those for tuning in. Or if you're on Facebook, make sure to give us a thumbs up and a comment. If you're on YouTube, make sure to like, subscribe, click that bell. Also, you can support BS3 Radio in a couple different ways via Patreon, patreon.com BS3 Radio, or PayPal or Cash App. You can see it right there at the bottom. So, Courtney, coming on late night. I know you're on the East Coast. Thank
Yeah,
you.
man. Late night, man. I said I got to jump on a couple of these, even if
Yeah.
it's late. I said, let me jump on. This is it. This in the NBA until what, January. So
Right.
I
At
got to get
least.
on. Yeah.
Right. And Ty, jumping on in the car.
Oh yeah, man. Like I said, we got to make the device work. Something, computer, phone, something. We're gonna
we
make
can
something
do
happen though.
we can do it all. We can do it
Yes,
all.
sir.
But thank you everybody. We'll be back Sunday. Have a great night, morning, evening, wherever you're watching this. Peace.
Peace.
Peace.